Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're decoding the military's blended retirement system, the BRS, to help you build a real, actionable wealth-building playbook for your future. If you're serving in the uniformed services right now, you've got access to a retirement setup that's fundamentally different and, honestly, potentially way more lucrative than the systems of the past. So let's just jump right in.
First up, I've got to ask you, are you accidentally leaving free money on the table? It's incredibly common for service members to get so caught up in the daily grind that they just leave their admin paperwork on the default settings and completely forget about it. But as we're going to see today, letting your retirement just sit on autopilot, that could mean walking away from literally hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So here's our flight plan for This Explainer. 1. Meet your retirement system. 2. Maximizing the TSP match. 3. Your mid-career bonus. 4. Retirement and lump sums. And finally, 5. Winning the long game.
All right, let's start with Section 1, Meet Your Retirement System.
So the blended retirement system essentially merges the traditional legacy pension, what we call a defined benefit, with a modern 401k-style plan known as the Thrift Savings Plan, or the TSP. Before 2018, if you didn't hit that full 20-year mark, you pretty much walked away with zero retirement pension. But the BRS changed all of that. It was a total game changer. Now, even if you only serve a few years, you get to take your TSP account and all the government contributions inside it right along with you. It's a massive shift that rewards you for your time, no matter how long you serve.
Moving on to Section 2, Maximizing the TSP match. Okay, let's look at the actual mechanics of the match. Under the BRS, the Department of Defense automatically chips in 1% of your basic pay to your TSP, absolutely no matter what you do. But the real magic? That happens when you start contributing your own money. If you put in 3%, the DoD gives you that automatic 1% plus a 3% match. That brings your total to 7%. But here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. Contributing 5% of your own pay unlocks the maximum 4% DoD match plus that 1% automatic contribution. So by putting in just 5%, you're literally doubling your investment to a total of 10% every single month. Let's ground this math in reality for a second to see just how doable this really is. Imagine you're a young soldier and your basic pay is roughly $2,000 a month. To hit that 5% sweet spot and max out the government match, you only need to contribute $100 a month out of your own pocket. That's it, just a $100 sacrifice. And for doing that, the government immediately throws in another $100. That is a 100% return on your investment the very second that money hits your account. But here's where it gets truly wild. If you take that combined $200 a month, your $100 plus the government's $100, and just let it sit in your TSP, compounding over a 25-year career, it can grow to almost $200,000. Just really think about that for a second. You gave up $100 a month, and the sheer power of compound interest, combined with free government money, turned it into nearly $250,000. That right there is exactly why hitting that 5% minimum contribution early in your career is absolutely critical. All right, on to Section 3, your mid-career bonus. Under the BRS, right between your 8th and 12th year of service, you actually become eligible for something called continuation pay. Now, contrast this with the traditional pension, which only gives you a long-term monthly income after you retire. Continuation pay is totally different. It's a one-time cash bonus handed to you right in the middle of your career in exchange for agreeing to perform some additional obligated service. For active duty members, this bonus is calculated as anywhere from 2.5 to 13 times your monthly basic pay. It is an incredible mid-career boost. You can use it to crush some debt, put down a deposit on a house, or really turbocharge your investments. Which brings us to Section 4, Retirement and Lump Sums. If you stick around for 20 years, you unlock the defined benefit pension, which is your monthly retired pay for life. But the BRS introduces a really fascinating choice at this milestone. You can choose to receive your full monthly annuity, or you can take a lump sum payout. Basically, you have the option to receive a discounted 25% or 50% of your future retired pay right up front, all at once. In exchange for that lump sum, your monthly retirement checks are temporarily reduced until you reach full Social Security retirement age, which is usually around 67. This gives retirees massive flexibility if they're looking to, say, start a business or buy a home right after leaving the service. But it definitely requires some careful financial planning to make sure you aren't shortchanging your future self. And finally, Section 5, Winning the Long Game. I really want to highlight this quote from financial experts who study investor behavior. They said, Portfolio changes are being made based on research, not on emotions. And research consistently shows that professional managers outperform individual investors for exactly this reason. Human beings are just incredibly wired to panic sell when the market dips and greed buy when it surges. To win the long game, you absolutely have to separate your emotions from your TSP allocations. Let's break down some of the biggest behavioral traps that federal employees and service members fall into, especially during periods of market volatility. Number 1, constantly checking account balances. It just causes unnecessary anxiety and almost always leads to emotional trading. Number 2, chasing the market. A classic example is when people saw massive growth in the S fund after the fact and tried to jump in way too late. That's a classic trailing indicator mistake. Number 3, neglecting the Roth TSP tax benefits. Do not just assume your taxes will be lower in retirement. The Roth option allows your money to grow completely tax-free. And lastly, investing without a long-term roadmap. If you don't know where you're going, you're just reacting to the daily news cycle. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question. Does your current TSP allocation actually align with your long-term life roadmap? Have you done the 5% setup to capture that full government match? Are you actively planning for your continuation pay? Seriously, don't let default settings dictate your financial future. Log into your portal today, check your numbers, and make sure your daily financial habits are actively building the future you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer today, and keep learning.